Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of Review Flex. In this video, we're going to be talking about Dave Filoni and him teasing the Heir to the Empire storyline coming to Star Wars, guys. So, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, stay up to date with all the movie news we have going on around here, and with that down, let's jump into the Star Wars news. So guys, we're going to take a look at this article from the Sci-Fi and Fantasy Gazette. Ahsoka showrunner Dave Filoni teases Heir to the Empire's war and Baylan's hunt for the Mortis gods. Ahsoka showrunner and Lucasfilm Chief Creative Officer, newly appointed by the way guys, Dave Filoni has dropped some new hints about the Heir to the Empire plans and finally breaks silence on the big Mortis god tease in the finale. Let's check it out. So yeah guys, we obviously had our first appearance of Grand Admiral Thrawn in live action in the Ahsoka show. A lot of people were kind of iffy on the Ahsoka show. I thought it was quite fun, I enjoyed it. Obviously there were a lot of plot holes and MacGuffins. And some of the things that Grand Admiral Thrawn didn't make a lot of sense coming from like a tactical sort of army commander kind of perspective. A lot of people had issues with that. But I still enjoyed the show for what it was, kind of turn your brain off, just have a bit of fun with Star Wars. It was nothing amazing, nothing bad either. But yeah, it was kind of a little bit of fun, I would say. But guys, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Grand Admiral Thrawn going forward. I think he's a really fascinating character. Obviously, Heir to the Empire book is one of the most beloved kind of materials in the Star Wars fandom. So if they can adapt that to the big screen or for a TV show, I'm excited to see what they do with it, guys. But let's keep reading and see if we can learn a little bit more about the Heir to the Empire plans going forward. So, Dave Filoni is now Chief Creative Officer at Lucasfilm, giving him the power to shape the Star Wars franchise moving forward. That was a great decision on their part to make him a Chief Creative Officer, guys. So he's already developing Ahsoka Season 2, and beyond that, Filoni will helm a Star Wars movie that's expected to put a new spin on Timothy Zahn's classic Heir to the Empire story. So when Ahsoka ended, the title character and Sabine Wren were left stranded in another galaxy on Peridea. Grand Admiral Thrawn, meanwhile, had returned to the main galaxy with the Great Mothers alongside him as he travelled to Dathomir to resurrect what many fans believe will be an army of undead Night Sisters. Talking to Vanity Fair, Filoni said the idea of exploring neighbouring galaxies first came to him while watching Attack of the Clones. He goes on to say this, guys, quote, "If you look, there's an image of the galaxy and then there's actually these smaller galaxies near it," he tells the site. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. You know me, I plan for the long game, I really do, and that encompasses a lot more than it used to, as I help other people as well. Yeah guys, it's great to hear Dave Filoni saying, you know, he's planning for the long game, because that's what Star Wars needs. It needs a great narrative over a span of a long period, you know, filling in sort of having TV shows, having the movies, and then kind of tying it all in, having one overarching narrative, but having the standalone projects kind of having their own smaller stories, much like what Marvel did in the earlier phases of the MCU. You had individual movies that were their own contained stories, but then you had this overarching narrative kind of across, you know, all of the movies together. And that's what Star Wars needs. It needs a big plan going forward. Unlike the sequel trilogy, which came out and it seemed that each movie in that trilogy, it seemed kind of disconnected from one another. It seemed as though they were making it up as they were going along, that they had no idea what was going on. And the story was kind of very disjunct and disconnected and jarring from, you know, from story to story within those three movies. But yeah, Star Wars definitely needs a clear direction going forward, especially with this Heir to the Empire story, guys. And I'm kind of excited to see what they do with it. So when it comes to his plans for Heir to the Empire, Filoni chose his words carefully, but confirmed he won't necessarily see the classic Rebel New Republic soldiers versus Stormtrooper battles, which have come to define the Star Wars franchise. So he goes on to say this, guys, quote, "I'm setting up what seems to be a larger conflict with the Imperial Remnant. The conflict can't just mirror what we've seen before. It has to take on a different shape. It can't be the Empire versus what looks like the Rebellion or even the Republic. It has to be visually different." Yeah, this is great to hear as well, guys. So we're not kind of just rehashing old ground that we've seen before, you know, the Rebellion against the Stormtroopers. I mean, I love it as much as the next person. You know, Stormtroopers, they can't hit shit, they're firing all over the place. Rebels are kind of scurrying in their trenches and all this kind of, like, classic Star Wars, guys. It's classic Star Wars stuff, and I love it as much as the next person. But when he says here, it has to be visually different, I love that going forward. That's what we need. We need to kind of, the image of what Star Wars is, we kind of need to tweak it, you know, make it new, make it fresh, make it a little bit different from what we've seen before. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That's not saying that we should get rid of, you know, what Star Wars has done in the past. But, you know, as we go along, as it gets newer, as we bring it to a new generation and a new set of films, let's visually tweak it, make it a little bit different, you know, something different than what we've seen before. Keep it fresh, keep it interesting for new fans to come aboard, as well as, you know, fans of the old stuff as well. And I love this quote from what he said, guys, and I'm very, very interested to see what they do visually different going forward in Star Wars. So, Ahsoka left us with a lot of unanswered questions, particularly in regard to the deal with those statues of the Mortis gods on Peridea. Guys, I'm a casual Star Wars fan, but I have no idea when it comes to Mortis gods. I don't know anything about this. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Baylan Skoll. By the way, Baylan Skoll was one of the best characters in the Ahsoka show. If nothing else, if you didn't enjoy anything about the Ahsoka show, guys, Baylan Skoll was the #1 character in that show. He was incredible. He was one of those bad guys that felt that what he was doing was right. And that's one of the most compelling things about, you know, a villain in any kind of medium. If it's a villain, but he truly believes what he is doing is correct and right and moral, then that's kind of a scary villain. And Baylan Skoll, played by Ray Stevens, which has passed away, but hopefully they carry on the character because it deserves it, guys. He's a great character. So, where are we? Baylan Skoll appears to want to make their power for his own, potentially opening the door to Abeloth being unleashed. I'm really sorry, guys. I don't know what that is. If you guys know what that is, jump into the comment section, let me know. So, quote, "You have to be careful with that," Filoni said of a tease, which likely lost on most casual Star Wars fans. Yep, that's me, guys. I'm a casual Star Wars fan. I don't know anything about Mortis gods or anything like that, so I do apologize. He also says, quote, "I know it's a very specific group of people that would even know what those statues are, but I thought it was an exciting image, and it does give you the shape of what Baylan is after." So Baylan has tried to take those teachings that he learned as a young person to create his own way of being. And he looked at the cycle of things and said, enough with this. If I have this power, I should wield it. I should be the one making decisions, which a lot of people with power decide that's the way to go, he continues. He's also very certain that what he's doing now is the right thing. Yeah, like I said, guys, one of the most powerful things that you can do for a villain is instill this kind of moral system in them that shows on screen that what they believe is they're doing is correct and right and moral. And that makes a villain kind of scary because it's kind of like they have such, what's the word? Their moral compass is so strong. They believe that they're right, that they're just in what they're doing, even if it's causing harm to other people. So, Ahsoka 2 is expected to be released before Filoni's Star Wars movie, so that will likely be what answers some of the mysteries and sets the stage for the war, which will take place between the original and sequel trilogies. Are you excited for Filoni's Star Wars plans? Yeah, guys, I'm definitely excited for what he's going to be doing with Star Wars. Heir to the Empire seems to be a beloved novel, you know, source material within the Star Wars fandom, as I say, guys. And if they adapt it to the big screen or the small screen, in part, it should be an exciting future for Star Wars, guys. Yeah, which is really cool. By the way, guys, I've also got a little small update about the Rey Star Wars movie. Go down to the description. I'll post a link down there if you want to check out a small update about the Rey Star Wars movie. She makes a few comments about, you know, that she's read the story. And yeah, it's an interesting video, guys. So make sure you check that out. But yeah, I'm interested for this. It looks really cool, guys. As I say, I'm a casual Star Wars fan. I don't know mega lore when it comes to Star Wars, but I love Star Wars as much as the next film fan. I think it's a great franchise. And I really hope that Star Wars has a bright future going forward because it deserves it. It's a great franchise. I want new fans to come on board. I want a new generation to be excited about Star Wars. And, you know, I want something to represent, you know, the older fans as well, guys. I know that's a bit of a fine line to tread, and that can be hard to do sometimes. It's a balancing act. You can't make everyone happy all the time. I get that. But time will tell, guys. So yeah, jump into the comment section, guys. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and opinions on this. Are you excited about Heir to the Empire being adapted in Star Wars going forward? I definitely am. I'd love to know what you think, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon.